antique and classic boat show, held annually at the South Island's Lake Rotowiti, is a wonderful showcase of the country's maritime heritage. Like everything else, it was badly affected over the last 2 years by COVID and lockdown, but this year it came back stronger than ever. I spoke to one of the event's organizers, Pete Rainey, about its resurrection. So Pete, this is the 23rd edition of the Lake Rotowiti Boat Show. You didn't have it last year at all, and the year before you only had
half of it, and then the COVID setting changed overnight and we couldn't do anything on the Sunday.
So it's good to be back again, and I guess you're pleased with the result. It looks fabulous.
Well, I still think the country's going through, quite a lot of stress in lots of ways, so we're really thrilled with the amount of attendance, not only with the boats but also the crowds that have been coming. It's been great.
What do you think makes this an event that people like to come to?
Well, multiple factors really. I mean, obviously there are other classic boating events around the country, but they're mainly for larger craft on the sea. And so this was an opportunity for people with small boats, trailerable boats, to gather in one place in the country. It's relatively central, but also it's a stunning setting, and it often takes people by surprise when they haven't been here before to see the kind of setting that it is.
So you've been involved since the first one. Have you seen much change over the years?
Well, obviously it's grown a bit. We're attracting more boats, but I think the most important thing for me is about people, not about boats. Even though I love the boats, man, we've met some really interesting people, and it's ignited a passion for building craft, for restoring craft, which I think is really fantastic. It's got a bit of a scene happening, and not just this show, but it's grown a lot in that respect.
Yeah, so it is a legacy building kind of event, I suppose.
Sure. I mean, we even if we stopped the show now, I think it would carry on, because I think people are really, this kind of activity would carry on. People are just passionate. It's not just people who are fascinated by boats, but it's people who make boats, it's people who design boats, and it's also the historical perspective of people finding out about the stories behind boats, and indeed some of the old timers who are still around can impart their knowledge, which is a really important thing, especially for the younger people who are beginning to get enthusiastic as well.
I've always struck by the mix between restored old vessels but also brand new vessels that have been built in the style of the old vessels. I mean, that's an extraordinary sort of mix that you have.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's not we're not driven by big and flashy boats. There's some beautiful boats, don't get me wrong, and we love seeing those, but more often than not the boats that win or that gather the attention are those that have got a really special story, and that's fantastic. We've over the years we've uncovered some amazing boats.
So you've been organising this all these years, but you're a boat collector in your own right. You've owned a few in your time, and the most recent one at this show is Fleck II, a very famous old hydroplane. Can you tell us a little about her?
Well, she's a boat that's from this lake. It was the first boat to do 100 miles an hour on this lake. It holds a huge amount of memories for a lot of people who used to come here when they were kids. Remember seeing that boat out on the water, and it's been lying idle for a few years. And we knew that it was round, and we negotiated with the owner and were able to get hold of it and get it going again. It's not floating yet, but we've certainly got the engine going. But the mix of stories with that boat, the characters behind it, and the power that it's got, it's a really fascinating craft.
Yes, I was particularly interested in its engine, which is the old V12 Rolls-Royce, or the Kestrel. It's an early forerunner of the Merlin engine, which powered the Spitfires and the Lancaster bombers. Was getting that engine running again a mission?
It was a real mission. I mean, it's a 91-year-old engine, complicated systems. And we had a young engineer who's done a lot of work on it, who has a passion, and a whole bunch of people had a passion for getting that old engine going, because they remembered the engine from when they were younger, and wanted to see it, but hear it running again. I mean, it's a magnificent thing.
Yes. That boat, do you have a plan for her? I mean, I know any restoration, particularly something of that magnitude, is likely to be an expensive and a time-consuming exercise, but is your vision?
Well, the issue with a hydroplane is not just getting the boat going, because they're fast, and there's a whole set of parameters that you have to get under control if you're going to take it at speed. That boat has done 140 miles an hour. We certainly wouldn't ever entertain going anywhere near that speed. We might try and get it back on the water, but just getting the engine going was the first step, and we'll look at the hull next and see if we can take it further.
So, as I said, this is the 23rd edition. It seems to have gone particularly well. You happy with the way things are?
Absolutely. You know, the weather's been great, and everybody's having a great time, Lawrence. That's what it's all about.
What is the relationship that you have with DOC, or are you able to use this facility for future years without any problems?
Yeah, we have a concession that's going to run through till 2029, and I would be surprised if we weren't able to continue to do it. Certainly, there seems to be pressure on some activities in national parks, and we certainly hope that we're going to be able to continue to do this for some time.
Well, as you say, it is a fabulous facility, and the setting is extraordinary. So, what a better place to have a glorious event like this.
Exactly. Good on you.